Adventure bikes are hotter than a two-stroke with a clogged radiator. Back in the early 2000s, when the craze first kicked off, it was all about the big boys, the BMW GS Brigade. Massive, expensive, rolling lazy boys built to circumnavigate the globe, as long as off-road meant a mildly bumpy fire road and not actual rough terrain. But lately, the spotlight has shifted. Mid-weight adventure bikes are stealing the show, with the Tenere 700s and KTM 890s leading the charge. Why? Because they can gobble up highway miles and actually hold their own in the dirt. These things are flying off showroom floors faster than beer at a biker rally, and that hype is real. Before we dive in, just a quick reminder. If you're liking the content so far, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps my channel grow and allows me to continue making these videos. Over 98% of viewers watch these videos without subscribing, so let's change that and build this community together. Okay, back to it. There's another class of adventure bikes that barely get a nod in all this hype, the small guys. These bikes are the Rodney Dangerfield of the ADV world. No respect at all. The irony? Outside of Europe and America, these are the adventure bikes. They rule the sales charts in some of the biggest motorcycle markets on the planet. But here in the West, they get shrugged off as underpowered beginner bikes, forever living in the shadow of the 800cc class, which, fair enough, does have the upper hand when it comes to highway cruising. But let's not write them off so quickly. These little machines have a lot going for them. The biggest perk? Price. We're talking about bikes that cost roughly a third of what you pay for a big 1200cc adventure behemoth and about half the price of your typical 800cc ADV. In fact, you could buy two of these, deck them out with all the accessories your heart desires, and still be spending around the same as an F850 GS. Now that is some serious bang for your buck. Second, these bikes come with a secret weapon, something that makes any motorcycle, especially an off-road one, infinitely better: lightness. Most of them tip the scales at under 400 pounds, and one I'll mention later sneaks in at under 340 pounds. That's nearly half the weight of a fully loaded big ADV bike. Then there's their friendly demeanor. If you're new to riding, a bit shorter, or just not keen on wrestling a 1,200-pound gorilla through the dirt, or even an 800, because let's be honest, those middleweights are tall, then these bikes are your best friend. Light, approachable, and with just the right amount of power to keep things fun without getting out of hand. They inspire confidence both on and off the pavement. Before we get into it, let's lay down some ground rules. First, I'm capping this list at 500cc. Yeah, it's an arbitrary cutoff, but we've got to draw the line somewhere. That means bikes like the KLR 650 and V-Storm 650 are out. They belong in the middleweight club. Lastly, for the off-road pursuits ready to chime in with, what about the DRZ 400 or a tricked-out KLX? I get it. Those are fantastic bikes, but they're dual sports, meaning tall seats, smaller tanks, and a little extra work to turn them into full-fledged adventure machines. For this list, I'm sticking to bikes that come ready for the journey straight from the manufacturer. If you're after something with a bit more off-road muscle, don't worry. There's one contender on this list that might just be your cup of dirt, but we'll get to that in a bit. I'll walk you through the top contenders in this category, break down the pros and cons, and then reveal my personal favorites. So, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and let's dive in. Kicking off the list is the Kawasaki Versys X300, a 296cc twin-cylinder adventure machine built for riders who want a balance of sporty performance and affordability. With 40 horsepower on tap, it's got enough grunt to handle highway cruising, carry a passenger, and carve up twisty back roads. It also boasts a generous 17-liter fuel tank for solid range and a manageable weight of 386 pounds fully fueled. Plus, it's one of those bikes you can deck out with accessories to suit your riding style. Now, the seat height sits at 32 inches, but thanks to its wide saddle, it can feel a little taller than expected, something shorter riders might notice when stopping. Powering this bike is a tried and true engine borrowed from the Ninja 300, known for its rock-solid reliability. Where does it fall short? Well, for starters, it hasn't seen an update since its debut in 2017, and many riders have been left wondering why Kawasaki hasn't introduced a Versys 400 with the newer Ninja engine. Another drawback is its limited suspension travel, just 5.1 inches up front and 5 inches in the rear. Perfectly fine for rough pavement, but not quite enough for serious off-road excursions. Then there's the power delivery. While the engine has decent punch, it thrives on high revs, which isn't exactly ideal when you're navigating technical trails. Peak torque sits at about 19 foot-pound, but it doesn't show up until a dizzying 10,000 RPM. That means the bike is best suited for riders sticking mostly to the pavement, with the occasional gravel or dirt road adventure. But if you're eyeing anything too rugged, the Versys X might not be your best bet, especially with its road-friendly 19-inch front and 17-inch rear wheels. Next up, we've got the Royal Enfield Himalayan, which is pretty much the polar opposite of the Versys. While the Versys loves to scream at high revs, the Himalayan just kind of plods along like a friendly mountain goat. It's rocking a 411cc single-cylinder engine that peaks at a humble 24 horsepower. Torque-wise, it's a bit of a late bloomer, but once it hits 4,000 RPM, it serves up a respectable 23.5 foot-pounds. Perfect for crawling over rocks, logs, and whatever else you can find off the beaten path. Now, if you're short or just starting out, this might be your new best friend. With a seat height of just 31.9 inches, it's as friendly as a golden retriever. The 428-pound wet weight might sound a little hefty, but it's got a bash plate, rear rack, and tank guards ready for your around-the-world adventure, or just your daily coffee run. The ground clearance isn't going to win any awards, though. I learned that the hard way during a demo ride on an obstacle course. But despite that, the Himalayan punches above its weight when it comes to off-road riding. The 21-inch front wheel and 17-inch rear wheel combo gives it decent chops, and it'll take you a good distance on its 15.1-liter tank. Plus, with an air-cooled engine, maintenance is a breeze. Now, there were some reliability hiccups in the early models, but from what I've heard, the kinks have been mostly ironed out. And with a 2-year warranty, you've got some peace of mind if things go south. This bike is perfect for shorter riders who want to actually get off the road and explore, but don't expect to be winning any drag races on the highway. The biggest complaints? Power on pavement is lacking, and the brakes, well, they're more meh than mighty. But if you can overlook that, the Himalayan is a solid, budget-friendly off-road machine that's ready to take you places. Next on the list is the BMW 310 GS, the runt of the GS family. But don't let its size fool you, it's still a solid performer. This bike is kind of like that all-around buddy who's good at a little bit of everything. It packs a 313cc single-cylinder engine that churns out 34 horsepower and 21 foot-pound of torque. Plenty to cruise on the highway and still have enough grunt to handle some off-road duties. With its 19-inch front and 17-inch rear wheels, plus 7.1 inches of suspension travel front and back, it'll take on light trails without breaking a sweat, but don't expect it to win any hardcore off-road awards. At 372 pounds wet, it's one of the lighter bikes in this class, making it a bit more approachable for newer riders or anyone who doesn't want to wrestle with a heavy beast. The 32.9-inch seat height is pretty middle of the road, comfortable for most riders without being a stretch. And let's talk fit and finish. This thing looks like a GS, and BMW doesn't mess around when it comes to quality. It's not the absolute best at any one thing in its class, but it's certainly not bad at anything either. It just does it all pretty well. The 11-liter fuel tank is a little on the small side if you're planning long tours, but for day trips or weekend adventures, it'll do the job just fine. Plus, it comes with a luggage rack as standard. Nice touch, right? So if you're after a bike that's got that classic GS look and can handle just about anything, the G310 GS is a great option. It's not the most hardcore off-roader, but it's got the right balance for riders who want versatility at a budget-friendly price. Now, if you're looking for a bike that's all about off-road performance and you want something designed specifically for the adventure rider who spends more time in the dirt than on the pavement, the Honda CF Rally is the one to beat. Sure, you could buy a regular dual sport and add accessories to make it more adventure ready, but why mess around when Honda's already done the heavy lifting for you? The CRF 300 Rally is essentially a CRF 300L with a few tweaks to make it more adventure-oriented. It comes with a fairing, bash plate, and larger fuel tank, making it a proper adventure machine right out of the box. It replaces the previous 250 model and is powered by a 286cc single-cylinder engine, which is sourced from the CBR 300R. Depending on where you are, it's claimed to put out anywhere between 27 to 31 horsepower, but don't expect it to set any speed records. This bike isn't about thrilling acceleration on the pavement, its heart lies in the dirt. The CRF Rally's real strength is its off-road capabilities. The 21-inch front and 18-inch rear wheels are perfect for tackling trails, and with a massive 10.2 inches of suspension travel on both ends, it can soak up rough terrain with ease. Weighing in at just 337 pounds wet for the European version, it's lightweight and nimble, making it easy to handle, even when the going gets tough. The updated model also has a 12.8-liter fuel tank, which offers a decent range for those long-distance dirt rides. In short, if you're planning to take on something as gnarly as the Road of Bones or any other off-beaten-path adventure, this bike is hands down the best choice. It's the lightest mass-produced adventure bike you can get, and it's built to go places no other adventure motorcycle can reach. The Honda CR-F Rally is a solid choice for those looking to spend most of their time off-road, but there are definitely a few trade-offs. Despite the extra displacement, it's still underpowered compared to other bikes in its class. While it will easily beat the Royal Enfield Himalayan in a drag race, it'll be left in the dust by more powerful competitors. Another challenge is its tall seat height at 35.2 inches, which can be tough for shorter riders. With the long suspension travel and excellent off-road capabilities, this bike requires some compromises, especially in road performance. So, if you're after pure off-road adventure, it's worth considering whether the sacrifices in on-road performance are a deal breaker. Now, if you're someone who craves the sportiness of a small adventure motorcycle, the KTM 390 Adventure might be just what you're after. This bike packs a 373cc motor that cranks out 44 horsepower and 23 pound-feet of torque, making it the hot rod of the group. It's fast in a straight line and can carve corners with the best of them. Weighing just 387 pounds wet, it's light and agile, which makes for an exhilarating ride on twisty roads or highways. Being a KTM, it's built with performance in mind. This bike is stiff, sporty, and designed for those who love to ride hard. While it's good off-road, it's not the absolute best in the class for tackling dirt trails. The cast wheels with 19-inch front and 17-inch rear aren't ideal for deep off-road work, and the suspension travel, 6.7 inches in the front and 7 inches in the rear, while adequate for rough roads, won't handle gnarly single-track trails. But in terms of overall ADV performance, it's still superior to the average bike in its class. What really sets the KTM 390 Adventure apart are its electronics and features. The bike comes with a color TFT dash that pairs to your phone, lean-sensitive ABS, and traction control. There's also an optional quick shifter, making this bike a standout for tech and features. Despite the slight drawbacks in off-road ability, its performance and adventure features offer excellent value for the price. So, if you're looking for a sportier, feature-packed small adventure bike, the KTM 390 Adventure could be your perfect match. The KTM 390 Adventure, as sporty and tech-packed as it is, still has some drawbacks. The most obvious one is the lack of wire wheels, which could certainly help improve its off-road performance, particularly in more rugged conditions. Also, while the 19-inch front wheel is fine for most situations, a 21-inch would give it an edge off-road, but it would also raise the already tall seat height of 33.7 inches, potentially making it less accessible for shorter riders. KTM's reliability, while improving, has still been questioned in the past. Despite this, the 390 Adventure offers a sporty, well-rounded package for those who value performance and tech. Now, if you're looking for a more road-focused option that still has some adventure spirit, the Honda CB500X might be exactly what you're after. The CB500X is the biggest and heaviest of the bunch, tipping the scales at 434 pounds wet. But with its 471cc parallel twin engine, it offers the most relaxed and steady performance, especially on highways or longer road trips. With 47 horsepower and 32 pound-feet of torque, this bike excels on the pavement, making it a great choice for touring, commuting, or even riding with a passenger. The CBX500X doesn't have the off-road chops of some of the lighter, more trail-oriented bikes in this group, but it's by far the best option if you're looking to spend more time on the road. Its parallel twin engine provides ample power for highway cruising, and its relatively low weight compared to larger touring bikes makes it easy to handle on longer rides. For someone who wants the versatility of an adventure bike with a focus on on-road touring, the CB500X delivers. The Honda CB5X is indeed an excellent bike for long interstate rides, and I can definitely see why it stands out for that purpose. And solid build quality make it a great choice for riders looking to log miles on the highway. With its lowish seat height of 32.7 inches and a big 17.5-liter gas tank, it's built for long-haul comfort. Despite the relatively modest suspension travel, it handles some gravel and dirt with ease, but it's definitely more road biased than off-road capable. If you want a bike that'll last forever, the Honda is a good bet, though it does come with the price tag to match its durability. When it comes to choosing the right bike, it's all about the kind of riding you'll be doing. If you're sticking mostly to roads, the Kawasaki Versys 650 is a solid choice. It's well-rounded and comfortable for long trips. The BMW G310 GS and KTM 390 Adventure are great all-arounders if you need something that can handle both the road and some off-road action. If you're focused on off-road performance, then the Honda CR-F 300L Rally or Royal Enfield Himalayan are your best bets. Both are designed with off-road adventure in mind. It all comes down to balancing your priorities between road comfort, off-road capabilities, and overall versatility. If I had to pick one bike out of the bunch to be my only motorcycle hands down, it'd be the CBX 500X. I've always been a fan of Honda's reliability and attention to detail, and this bike just feels solid. It's the one that, when you hop on it, you immediately know it's built to last. I could easily see myself taking it on a long cross-country ride without a second thought. Until next time, ride safe, ride fast, and keep chasing the horizon. See you in the next video.